Please put your hands together for Mel Hammond. On today's video, you're going to be hearing all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. No, you're not. You're actually going to be hearing from a dear friend of mine named Mel Hammond and her experience with a booted leg.
And then my favorite sandwich was, it was like onions and jam and turkey in like bread. And that was called the nail gun sandwich. And you had to like do that every time.
Hey guys, hope you're well. I trust that you're well. I am doing well. You know, it's a lovely Wisconsin day in the winter time, and as you know, that's my favorite thing in the world. Hey, right off the top, if you want to hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, that would help a ton. Share these videos with your friends if you find a story that's funny and great or whatever. And then finally, if you want to go to patreon.com/MadisonStorySlam, you can help us make the show better and pay for some of the equipment that we need and some of the website stuff that we do. We put a lot of effort in for you guys, and if you appreciate it, show some appreciation. We'd appreciate it. All right. As I said at the top, we're going to be hearing from Mel Hammond, another dear friend of mine who I met through Madison Story Slam. She's been a faithful fan. Fan is a weird word to say. She's been a faithful community member. You know, we believe in building community through storytelling, and she is one of the most faithful community members. She comes just about every month. The only time she doesn't come is if she's got something to do with work, if she's traveling for work. So speaking of traveling, Mel's story today is about a difficult time that she had an injury, and she had to do some difficult stuff, and she had to take a trip, and it didn't end so well, or maybe it did. It ended comically bad / good. I don't know. One other thing, it's been pointed out to me that on, I think, every single one of these videos, I'm wearing a black shirt or a dark gray shirt, and I have been challenged to get some color in my life. So I'm making a commitment to you now that the next time you see one of these videos, I am going to be wearing a different colored shirt. I like black, though, so you might see a lot of black on these videos. Black shirts. I'm wearing black jeans right now, even, so I don't know. I don't know why I'm telling you what I'm wearing. It's now become one of those types of videos. Anyway, here's Mel.
Has anybody ever had a sprained ankle or a broken ankle and you like wear that boot? Anybody? Yeah. Okay, so you're not supposed to drive with it because it's really heavy, and if it's your right foot, like it's like you push on the gas too hard. It's really, you're not supposed to do it. But I had a really good reason. Okay, so I was getting rides to work, and that was fine. I knew I wasn't supposed to drive, but I really needed to drive to Indiana. I had been on crutches for 3 weeks, but I was finally off the crutches, and I was just like walking around in the walking boot. And I just needed to go to Indiana. It's about a 5.5-hour drive. And the reason I needed to go to Indiana is because my sister, my favorite person in the whole world, was in jail. Yes. She's 5 years younger than me, and we are extremely close. So, I mean, we have a brother in between, and we just like leave him out of everything. It's just like me and her. We are best buds. I was the first person she came out to. We spent a whole summer inventing sandwiches together, like really weird sandwiches. Like her best sandwich was like sun chips and applesauce wrapped up in a tortilla. And like the thing was, we would like make these sandwiches and then like make funny names for them. So you pronounce that sandwich like tax exemption wrap. Like Patrick Starr, like imagine that voice, and he's saying like tax exemption. And then my favorite sandwich was, it was like onions and jam and turkey in like like bread. And that was called the nail gun sandwich. And you had to like do that every time. So anyways, that's the kind of relationship we had. Very silly, very close. Anyway, she was in jail. I had to get there. So I drive 5.5 hours in this boot on my right foot because I had a sprained ankle. And I literally had to lift my foot with my arms to push it down on the gas and the brake. It was not good. But I made it to the jail. And let me tell you, it is not fun to visit a loved one in jail. You might be wondering, why couldn't we bail her out? We didn't have the money, and the lawyer said that even if we bailed her out, the prosecutor was going to file a motion and put her right back in, and we would lose our money. So she was in jail. She'd been in there for a couple months, and she was not doing well. It was very, very hard. Still hard. She's in prison now. Very sad about it. But at the time, hadn't seen her for a couple months. I had to get there. So I saw my sister in the jail, and some people think jail is a little bit easier than prison. It's like you haven't been convicted yet, you're just hanging out. No, it's way worse than prison. There was no contact. We had to visit through 3 inches of glass. We picked up a telephone to talk to her, and there were 4 of us squeezed into this tiny little visiting room. And only one person could hear her at a time because you could only hear through the phone, and everyone else was watching her lips to see what she was talking about. And there's also all sorts of fluids just smeared over everything in jail, just stuff all over the glass. Yeah, it was very gross. So anyways, left the jail. I was very, very happy to see her. It's hard being so far away from her while she's going through this hard time. So I'm driving away, in the boot, lifting my leg to press on the brake and the gas. And I'm just sobbing while I drive. I know it's not safe, and I apologize to all those on the road that day. I admit it was not the best choice, but I had to be there. So I stop at a rest stop, the Belvedere Oasis. Yep. Yep, I was there. And I get out of the car, and I have been crying. It's been a very hard drive. I've just been blasting music, trying to just forget about everything. And I'm hobbling up to the rest stop to use the restroom. And this woman comes out of the rest stop with a little girl holding her hand. And we're passing each other. They're going back to their car. And she looks at me. She looks at my boot. And she mutters under her breath, "Gimp?" And I'm like, what? My face is stained with tears. And I have just experienced one of the traumatic moments of my life. And I'm like, she has the nerve to pass me on the way to the restroom and just mutter "Gimp" at me. So I'm just so angry. I'm like, what? Why would she even say that? That's not even a good insult. And so I turn around, she's already passed me, and I turn to just glare at her. And I notice she has a boot too. What I took as an insult was her trying to establish camaraderie with me. And I was here feeling sorry for myself, picking up my leg to push on the gas and the brake, just crying as I drove. And this woman with her little girl, she's got a story too. And I just assumed she was out to get me, out to insult me. And really, she was just being nice. And I took it as an insult because I was really, really sad. And after I realized what was going on, I laughed to myself, and I thought it was really hilarious, and it made me feel a little better. Thanks.
Thank you, Mel. I love that this woman was trying to show some solidarity with you. It was the equivalent of her walking face to face at each other, and her being like, "It sucks, doesn't it?" And you being like, "Fuck you!"